Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have on guests that the community had an opportunity to meet on Veterans Day. Today my guests are none other than Sergeant First Class James Doyle, along with his wife Kim. I want to welcome both of you all to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let me just get started. I said a couple of weeks ago the community was introduced to First Class James and you, Kim, because of the fact that you all were the recipients of a home. Let me just ask you a little bit, talk a little bit about you all as a family, if you don't mind for me, Kim.
Okay, well, we have two boys, Tristan, who's 13, and Darian, who's 9. And they're pretty much whatever activities they're on, that's what we're doing for the month, and or however long the program is. I mean, we're just your typical, regular, everyday family. Just making it day to day, and trying to keep the boys busy and active, and keep them out of trouble, which also keeps us busy and active. So it's pretty interesting. An outdoorsy type family. We love playing. The boys love playing outside. We like just sitting back on the porch or on the in the backyard and fishing and all kinds of stuff. So just your typical family.
Okay, well, very good. And I understand having two boys and having them in the activities probably keeps you on the go quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, James, now, I understand that you were in the military, served 20 years in the Army. Talk about your experience there a little bit for us.
Being in the military is an experience in itself, and when you spend 20 years in it, it's almost like a whole new life. Because I just recently retired, and it's you're so used to a schedule of doing everything. You've done it for 20 years. You knew that you were getting up at 5 o'clock every morning. You're going to go run 4 miles, do push-ups, sit-ups, and everything else. And you're going to train all day, and you're going to get to go home in the evening sometime if you weren't deployed or out in the field training. And I mean, now it's like, I get up at 6:15. I'm just trying to keep a schedule, and I'm going drink my coffee. I'm going, God, what am I going to do now? So the military is a great place. It was a great experience for 20 years. I wouldn't, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would. No doubt in my mind. I think it's a great experience.
Well, great.
It's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to learn, a good trade if you were in the right. I mean, I was infantry, so I mean, I pretty much can pull triggers and do a few other things. But there's a lot of good trades out there that could really benefit people when they get out of the military also. So.
Well, very good. And I know that everybody has thanked you, James, and also you, Kim, for providing support to James when he's away from you and the family. So I just want to say here publicly on the station, thank you for all the service that you rendered to our country, because there's not a lot of people that can go out and do the things that you and all the other military men and women have done and make that sacrifice for our country. So I thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
You're talking about infantry. My youngest son graduated from the infantry school down in Fort Benning as well. So I do know, being a military family or having someone in the military, that's a big sacrifice. Now, let me just ask you a little bit. You guys were the recipient of a new home, and I understand, Kim, as we were coming into the studio, the unpacked ferry hadn't gotten there and gotten everything kind of settled down for you guys.
No.
Talk about a little bit, James, first of all, about the selection process, and then Kim, I want to ask you, how did you feel when James told you about this? So James, talk about the selection for us.
The Square Foot Ministries contacted the Wounded Warrior program on Fort Benning, and they asked for certain criteria. It had to have a Purple Heart, had to be a wounded warrior from combat. And I just happened to have a Purple Heart, and my name was put into the hat for this possibility to receive this home. And it was like a day or so later, Mr. Clark from Square Foot Ministries also called me and talked to me, got my bio and all that stuff. And it was like maybe the very next day is when I talked to him again. And I didn't want to get my hopes up and everything. This is a great opportunity, right? But I asked him, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm getting out of the military. I need to figure out what I'm doing, right? He goes, we're 100% going with you for this selection, right? So I guess my bio and the Purple Heart and everything else just fit me right into the slot what they wanted to do for the bill that happened on Veterans Day, which is a very squared away thing.
Very good. Kim, how did you feel when James came and told you we're going to be getting a new home?
Well, at first, I guess he didn't want to jinx us because he was like, how would you feel about moving to LaGrange? And I said, well, I didn't know much about LaGrange. I knew it was close to West Point Lake, and we had been out there for a couple of his fishing tournaments. And I said, well, if that's where we're meant to be, it'll happen. And then sure enough, he told me, and we were just excited, and it's kind of like a fresh start for all of us, because he's getting out of the military, a new place for the boys, to grow some roots really, because we won't be moving again since he's out of the military. And I said, this is some place where we can really settle down, really get to know the community and get the boys, into whatever. So it was pretty mind-blowing when he first told me that we were going to be the recipients, and I was still in shock. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to jinx it. I'm like, and I'm sitting there going, oh, I want to tell somebody. I need to tell somebody, but I couldn't do it. So
yeah, it was still. I mean, all the way up to the actual day of the build, it was still, is this really going to happen? And as the closer we got, and we actually came up here and looked at the lot it was going to be built on. We're going, this really might happen. And then we actually went to Opelika, to their main office there, and actually started picking out the colors and all the stones and everything else for the house. We're going, we're getting closer.
This is going to happen, right?
This is going to happen.
Right.
And then next thing you know, we 11 hours, we had a house built, and it's beautiful.
Oh my goodness, isn't that something?
It's something.
Let me ask you the question, because I'm always interested, and I know that the house bill is bringing you all to LaGrange here, but you said you didn't really know a lot about it, but what has your experience been thus far being here in LaGrange?
I like it's not a small town at all. It's because we came from Phoenix City, Alabama, and that's a lot smaller than LaGrange, but it is a big city, but it's got the small town feel to it. It's not, you can drive anywhere, it's not overcrowded, it's not overpopulated, and we drove by the schools yesterday to where the boys will be going, and the schools were humongous. We were looking at it, I was like, that's a middle school? That was like my high school size. So it's just been really nice to, just drive around downtown and, other parts of LaGrange, and it's just been amazing that the whole small town feel, but it's not really a small town.
Very good. Well, we definitely will welcome both of you all and your family to our city. And of course, if there's ever anything that we can do down at City Hall, by all means, come in, give us a call. We'd be happy to assist you all. Now, let me just talk a little bit about the volunteers a little bit. I know there was numerous volunteers that were involved. Of course, we mentioned Square Foot Ministries. There were some others, not to try to leave out any because we probably will omit some. But there were a number of volunteers that came out that day on November the 11th to help make your home a reality and stuff. How did that seem, the overwhelming support of volunteers? How did that make you feel, James?
It made me feel, it was humbling. It was completely humbling, knowing that it was on Veterans Day, and everyone out there, it was a day off for them. People from SunTrust Banks and Square Foot Ministries and all the other volunteers that work for them when they do things. And they came out there on their time to help build a home for a veteran. And it's just overwhelming to know that there's that many people would still be willing to do something like that after all these years of issues that we've had with the military, wars and everything else. It's just there's still support for us out there, and it's very humbling. It's very nice to still see that.
Very good. And I saw it and read in the paper that you were able to help raise the first wall to your home there. Yeah. And again, I'm sure, just talk about that a little bit.
And we, the whole family, even the two boys, got to help raise that first wall. And they braced it. And we literally turned around and got a live interview on, I think it was Channel 5.
It was Fox
News. And we turned back around and all the walls were up. We're going, because they said they're going to build this home in 11 hours. I would say there's no way you're going to do it. It's impossible. And when I turned around, it was like, I go, wow, this might happen.
That's right.
I was still skeptical about it, but it might happen.
That's right.
And then a couple hours later, they're already working on the roof. I'm going, wow, this is ridiculously fast. And they brought a bunch of subject matter experts in that do that for a living, and it volunteered, which is, just once again humbling that they volunteered to do that. I mean, these people make a lot of money doing what they do.
That's right.
They did it for free.
Oh my.
And it's just very overwhelming on it.
Well, I think when we think about the sacrifice that you and all the other military personnel make, then that was just a small drop in the bucket to say thank you once again for your years of service, for your dedication to our country, and to you, Kim, again, being in support, because it takes a lot out of a family when the husband is not there. You know, the boys don't have their father there and stuff. So again, I can't say thank you enough. You probably saw when we had some military personnel came home, and the town turned out to welcome them back. You know, again, we just can't say thank you enough for all that you all do. Settling into your home, what's that going to be like, Kim?
Oh, it's still crazy. I mean, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I still got most of my kitchen unpacked, and then the boys' rooms are all pretty much where they're gonna, everything where it's gonna be. But yeah, the living room and the master bedroom, we're still trying to. And the garage is full of boxes, literally full of boxes. So it's just been crazy, you know, just trying to get everything unpacked, and this is. You know, every time I unpack something and look around the house, and it just brings, you know, it just
more, right?
It is. It just seems like no matter I finish one box, and then the next thing I know, I got 2 more boxes sitting there, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? So yeah, it just seems like it's never ending.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, again, James, Kim, welcome to our community, and I just want to say thank you, James, for your years of service. And I look to go out to the home to visit. To see. I know that we had some tape footage of that, so we're probably going to get opportunity to show that here on the show. So again, I want to thank you both for coming in and being on City Week.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Doug, president of Square Foot Ministries. So Doug, tell us all about what you're doing here today.
Well, we're out here trying to build a house in 11 hours, and we're having a good time at it.
Good time at it. What time did you get started this morning?
6 a.m. sharp.
Wow. So tell us all about Square Foot Ministries. How did you get started? What do you do? Is this your first house? Give us a little background.
Now, we've been banging around for about 10 years now. We're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization, and we build houses for those who can't afford houses for themselves. We've been doing this for about 10 years now, and we chose the Doyle family through Fort Benning this year, and we wanted to do a Veterans Day build in honor of our veterans.
Oh, that's so nice. And how do you organize all this? How many volunteer organizations do you have out here?
Well, we're partnering up with SunTrust Bank and America's Home Place to put this effort together, and everybody's come together. We've got a lot of volunteers through SunTrust Bank and a lot of the cooperation from America's Home Place as well too. So it's a team effort right now.
Yeah, that's so great. We've been out here since 6 o'clock this morning. It's about 7.5 hours left. Are you confident that it's going to get done in one day? Is this your first time doing it in one day?
This is our first time doing it in one day. Typically we do them in 7 days. We decided to get a little ambitious this year and go for one day. Just get everybody out here and have a good time, just see what we can do. We figured if we can't do it, nobody can.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Doug.
Thank you.
We're here now with Mr. Alan Tabor. He's the CEO of SunTrust West Georgia. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're here with the company that's building this house in one day. So tell me SunTrust involvement. How did y'all get connected?
Well, America's Home Place is a client of ours and contacted us and asked us to participate in this great cause. And we were more than excited and willing to do so. And along with them and Square Foot Ministries, we're here together making this happen, providing the land and the home for this deserving family.
All right, and so are all these volunteers, are they all SunTrust employees?
Well, we've got several of our employees here, and this is a holiday for us, and yet we've got about 50 of our teammates that are here today. Some from Atlanta, some from Columbus, and some from LaGrange. All have come here to help make this possible.
Wow, so is this something that SunTrust does often, partner with different organizations to do amazing things like building houses?
Yeah, most definitely. We call it Solid Gives Back, and our company is very dedicated to helping our communities and help make causes like this come true. So we're excited to participate. It is something we do on an ongoing basis, not necessarily build houses, but all kind of ways that we help the community, and this is just one of them. So first house, I guess, we've done at least for our market.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're here now with the recipients of this house that was built in one day, Kim and James Doyle. How are y'all doing today?
Just
Good.
fine.
All right, so how does it feel? What are your emotions right now?
Oh my gosh.
It's overwhelming. Overwhelming. Yeah.
I've been crying several times today.
Oh, I'm sure it's an emotional experience. Now, which one of you were in the military?
I am.
You are?
Or was, yes.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay, what branch of the military were you in?
Army?
Army?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been retired?
Since October 1st of this year.
Okay, congratulations. So you said now, we were talking earlier, you live in Phoenix City, Alabama, and you're moving to LaGrange.
Yep.
Are you excited about the move?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
All right, how did you get connected with this organization?
I had a friend. Well, they were looking on Fort Benning, the WTU, for a Purple Heart recipients that meet the criteria for something like this. And a friend of mine, a retired sergeant major, put my name in for it. And they chose me, so I meet all the prerequisites they need to do something like this. So I consider myself lucky to walk into something like that. So.
Wow, you're a Purple Heart recipient?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Tell us more about that.
Well, I got blowed up in Iraq by an IED back in 2003. Lucky, I mean, there's a lot of people that are worse than me, missing legs and arms and stuff like that. I got lucky. I'm still a full body. I have my aches and pains, but I have, very capable of still doing a lot of things with my kids and family. So.
Can you tell us more about your military career, where you've been, what you've seen, all you've been doing?
Yeah, I joined the military in 1991. Not straight out of high school. It was a couple years after I graduated, and as the time frame that Desert Shield and Desert Storm was going on, I said, that's something I want to do. I want to go fight for my country, all right? And unfortunately, I was in basic training. They ceased fire for that, so I've been chasing that kind of stuff for 20 years. I've been stationed most of my career at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with the 101st Screaming Eagles. And in 2004, while I was at the 101st, I was deployed to Kosovo. I was deployed to Panama for Operation Safe Passage for the Cuban refugees problem they had over there. And then also went to Iraq in 2003, where I received, I went to Korea too for a year. I got it. But, I went to Iraq, see my injuries, came back from Iraq, and I got a permanent change of station to Fort Benning. And I pretty much been here the rest of my career at Officer Candidate School, instructing the new officers in the United States Army on doctrine and traits and everything from war and everything I am really up to date on at that time. And then I just recently retired 1 October, like I was saying. And that's pretty much everything besides all the training and all the deployments, the Joint Readiness Training Centers and all those kind of things like that. Missed a whole bunch of anniversaries and birthdays and Christmases and everything else. But it's very much worth the time away from your family to support the interests of the United States of America. So.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you so much for your service. Ms. Doyle, how hard was it, or how easy was it, or how did it feel to have him be gone for so long and serving our country for so long?
It actually wasn't too hard because my dad was infantry also, so I kind of grew up in the Army life. I knew what to expect. I knew what I was getting into. I actually had pity on the civilian wives that their husbands were home all the time, and I'm thinking, how do you do it? How can you, I'm ready when he's home. Okay, isn't it time for you to go in the field? Something, you need to get out of the house. I'm ready for you to go. And so I used to figure out, how did civilian wives do it? And now that he's retired and, he's had his leave for about 3 months before he retired, and I'm thinking, all right, dude, don't you need to go fishing or something? Isn't it time for you to get out of the house? But it's actually, since we've been here at Fort Benning, it's been really great to have him home for all the little things. It was hard. Like when our first son was born, he was actually went to have coffee with my dad at the coffee shop, and he left at 4. My water broke at 4:30. And so I had to call and let them know at the school he was going to that I was in labor. And we had talked about it because it was hard for him to get in this school, that no matter what, you stay in this school. And we got lucky that they actually let him go for, about 2 hours?
About 2 hours, yeah.
So he got to come after we had our son. So, but, it's small sacrifices, so.
All right, well, thank you so much. I've enjoyed talking to you all today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Pete. He's on the board of Square Foot Ministries, and we're here with two of the Doyle children. How are you doing today, Mr. Pete?
I'm doing great. I'm way too excited.
How are you involved with getting all this put together? I know it's a big task.
Yes, it is. We're the board of Square Foot. We've lined up everything, trying to get everything organized and get the right specialist people out here to build. This is just I'm way too excited.
You're excited? And how are y'all feeling today?
We're feeling good.
Feeling good?
Great.
What's your name?
Darian?
Tristan.
Tristan, are y'all excited about your new home?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you excited about moving to LaGrange?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
13.
You're 13. How old are you?
9.
9. Wow, y'all here helping, getting everything done? All right, well, thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, we're here with Lionel Orbea. He's with Magnum Drywall. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
And what was your part in making this amazing thing come to play?
We did all the labor, the drywall.
The drywall? And we were talking, you said it was hung in 20 minutes.
Hung about 20 minutes.
Wow.
You know, 150 sheets.
150 sheets? How long does that normally take on a regular job?
It'd take about, a good 5 to 6 hours, so pretty much all day.
Okay, and you said it took about 2 or 3 hours to get it hung and molded and tape splattered.
Yeah, texture and all, yes.
Goodness, that takes normally like 5 days on a regular job?
5 days, you let it dry and stuff, so.
Okay, so did you bring more people today? What made it go so much faster?
A combination of all the people that came out today, Everybody worked and teamwork, and we just made it happen.
Where are you from? Do you originate in Atlanta or nearby?
Miami, but live in Commerce, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. It was nice speaking with you. All right, now we're here with Mr. Corey Thompson. He just heard about this project going on and decided to come down here and volunteer. How are you today?
Doing well. This is a great day and a great project.
How did you get involved with it? How did you find out about it?
Actually, a friend of mine called me a couple days ago and said, hey, she heard about this, read about it in the paper, and so I asked another friend of mine, so all three of us kind of came down this morning and spent the day here and working up a sweat and having a great time.
That's great. It's all about volunteerism. If you know him or if you think you might know him, he's from Fox 5. Tell us more about that.
Well, I spent most of my career doing what you're doing, holding a microphone and asking people questions and stuff. Now I'm doing some marketing, public relations, and teaching some broadcasting. But I've always wanted to give back to the community, and I've done volunteer work ever since I was in college. And so this is a great opportunity to do that again, give back to the community, especially here on Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. With Bill, he's with America's Home Place. So Bill, tell me your involvement in this big project.
In this project, what we're doing is takes a lot of scheduling and planning, and the planning and the scheduling, and then being here to see that the process works thoroughly like it's supposed to. That's what we're doing.
All right, and I know y'all typically do 7-day builds. Is this your first one-day build?
Yes, it is. It's our first one-day build, and it's went extremely smooth, a lot smoother than what we thought. We do a lot of 7-day builds, and we just make sure that everybody's happy, and it's just all about the scheduling and making sure that the process runs like a sewing machine, and then everybody's happy.
Y'all cover everything, every aspect of it from beginning to end?
Yes, from start to finish, everything is turnkey. The inside is complete. The house will be cleaned today before we leave from here. They just move their stuff in, and everything's good to go.
And as far as the contractors go, did you bring more contractors than you normally do, or you work with the same people on a regular basis?
Yes, we brought all of the people that we generally work with, which they have several crews that work for them. And what we had them do was to bring everybody that they had with them that works for them. That way we could make this thing happen like it has today.
Okay, well, just witnessing this has been an amazing experience. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
I'll let you get back to work. I know you have plenty to do.
All righty, you have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We're here with our our Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Casey Cagle. So how does it feel to be here and witnessing something like this?
Well, it's a great day, and obviously we're so thrilled, not only for James and the family, but to see 200 volunteers that have come together on Veterans Day to really honor a wounded warrior, an individual who obviously received the Purple Heart and sacrificed so much for our freedom. And this community has reached out in a way and in a way of service that I think is very, very special. So I'm honored to be here and honored to see this happen in 12 hours. And along with that, to see the sheetrock, I didn't get to see it, but to go up in 22 minutes, that's pretty amazing. So this is a great day, and it's a great day for the community, and really it honors us to be Georgians.
All right, well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining for City Week this week. My guests have been none other than James and Kim Doyle. Thank you all for being on the show again. And ladies and gentlemen, we just want to ask that you will continue to remember them, not only just today, but always, because they are new in our community, so I'm sure they will continue to welcome your support. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to welcome James and Kim Doyle to the show, and always want to invite you back for more of City Week.